Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex and this is the Ramble. We go until midnight tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very dignified in announcing that the person who is currently with us is the king of comedy, the joker of jest, it's Larry Bubbles Brown. I don't know why.
Yes, half a slave. That's a good thing we can talk about what you use coffee to get up in the morning.
I get coffee right here now, and this is not even the morning any longer, you know?
Yeah, I've never had coffee in my life.
Really?
I tasted it once, and it was so horrible I couldn't take it. But I like the smell of it, but the taste was just horrible.
I'll tell you, I didn't like coffee until when I was in San Francisco, it was a KMEL. They had a coffee machine, and that's when I first got used to coffee, because I realized you don't have to drink it black. You know, it's a vile brew black, but you add your sugars or your sweeteners, and you add some milk to it, and it's really very tasty, you know. But I could never drink this without that stuff in it. No.
And it seems like the way you see people line up at Starbucks, it's almost like a methadone clinic or something.
Well, that's true with Starbucks, you know. I mean,
Marge hammering on the door at 5.
Yeah. Right, your whole line about how you open, I have cash.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems to be it does seem to be kind of an addiction, so I don't know, but I guess it's kind of healthy for you, so who knows?
Well, it is an addiction. You know, but I mean, I don't know if it's an addiction with me. I don't drink it every morning when I'm not on. When I'm not doing something, I don't have a cup of coffee, but in fact, I have one cup of coffee I make, and I drink about maybe a third of it, and then I put it in the refrigerator and use it the next day. Warm it up. Yeah. So sometimes I've gone with the same cup of coffee for like 3 days in a row. So I know people out there thinking I'm weird, but I'm not weird. I'm strange, but I'm not weird.
Yeah, but I guess I get my caffeine from Diet Coke. So.
That's where you get it. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I was addicted for years to Diet Coke. But I don't do that anymore. I use a seltzer, but flavored seltzers, like, what's the one I use here? What's the one I have here? Let me hold on a second. Ice, it's called. Sparkling ice. And I just found a new flavor I love, coconut pineapple. So, you know.
Yeah, those are good. I think I've tried those.
Yeah, I buy them by the casefuls. Yeah. And the coffee I do when I'm doing a show, like when I'm doing this interview here, I just had to make a cup of coffee so that I'm, you know, perky. Yeah.
You're known for being perky.
Yeah, but well, I had to get up early today. You see, I don't like to get out early simply because my legs are weak when I first wake up. You know, my body isn't completely awake. And not that it ever is these days, but I like it awake for a certain amount. So Marjorie and I have been trying to get her onto my bank account because she's never been part of my bank account. In case I drop dead tomorrow, she has access to it, right? So, I mean, we go down there the other day and we had to wait an hour for somebody. And finally, it turns out this Bank of America branch, which is the Harlem branch, Bank of America, they only had 3 people working the whole place and people waiting in line to see somebody.
Nice.
Right? So he said, well, you should get down here earlier in the morning. So this morning we decided we'd go down, and we got there about 11, right? just packed. And still,
Jesus.
just 3 people. And I asked him, I said to him, this is Bank of America, folks. I want you to know that. Because I do want to give them a bad time about it. This is the Harlem branch. And he told me, he said, we used to have we had another person here. He said, but then they moved him to another branch and they didn't replace him. And I said, could that be because this is the Harlem branch of Bank of America and it's a certain amount of racism? He says, well, I'm not saying it, but you got it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, that was the deal with them. And I'm really mad about it because, it takes me a little bit more to go down the street to the bank than it used to. I now use a cane. Not that I can't walk, but I'm afraid of falling. And so the cane gives me a sense of security. I don't know. I've never fallen with the cane, so I don't know if it would really help me if I finally decide to fall. But that's why I have it, right? Well, the first thing I've learned is, I'm telling you this now. Listen to me, Larry. It's something you should know. Take it to the bank. You will thank me for the advice. Go to like Amazon or someplace like that and buy a cane. Now, you don't need a cane right now, do you?
Not yet, no.
But here's why you need it. When I'm with the cane and I go into a bank and it's just a lot of people in there, everybody's sitting down, they've got a chair to sit in and everything, and there's a line, people always say to you, oh, well, go ahead of me, please. Somehow, the cane is a hall pass.
Very nice, yeah.
And I don't need it. I mean, I could walk from here to the bank without the cane, but I would feel insecure without it, okay? That's the only reason I'm using it. But because I'm using it, people go, oh, here, have my seat, and I have to tell them, no, I'll stand, But everybody, because you've got a cane, that's an immediate hall pass. Isn't that wonderful? See?
Yeah, that'll work.
So go out and buy yourself a cane. Just buy a cane, try it for one day, and see how people react to it. They react to you differently, Where before they go, get out of my way, I was in here first. When you got the cane, oh, you've got a cane. Oh, go ahead of me, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm happy to use the cane, even when I don't need it.
You ought to threaten B of A with a lawsuit over that. That would get them moving, I would think.
I'm calling them and telling them that that it's disgusting what your practice is, in that this is a bank that if there were about 8 people waiting, okay. If there are 8 people waiting, then you haven't really supplied this bank with the manpower it needs to take care of the traffic it deals with. So they should do something about it, but they don't do anything about it. Same 3 people, one teller, okay. The other guy I don't think is a banker. He refers to the other person as a banker. And then he's like, I don't know, he's a gatekeeper. But we went down the other day, to get her, put onto my account, and we almost completed it. But then he said, we can't get access to your Social Security because you asked that it be blocked. So she had to go home and had to call, I can't remember who it was, Experian or somebody like that, and get them to unblock it. So we got it unblocked.
Oh, you've got a freeze.
Yeah. You can put a freeze on your Social Security information, okay? So she had to sign up for Experian and take the block off. It defaults to a block if you sign up. It defaults to a block, so you have to unblock it. So she unblocked it, and we're good to go. So now we're going to go back to the bank to finish the transaction. Something that should only take 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Right?
Yeah.
And we get down there, and there are all these people, and I said, well, we're back. We just want to finish that thing. And he says, well, I'm sorry. You got a whole line in front of you. And I'm going, but we're just finishing something you asked us to come back and finish. He said, well, you should get here earlier in the day. And I'm going, what time do I have to get here? You told me to get here, around 10:30, something like that. I said, it's about 11:15 now. And look, he says, well, I can't do anything about it. You're going to have to wait like everybody else.
Wow.
And I'm going, in most places they would say, oh, yeah, you were here the other day. Come on in. Let's just finish this thing off. Okay, goodbye. Next. But that's not the case. So, I mean, I'm thinking of changing banks, to tell you the truth.
I would. Nothing works smoothly. That's
and I've got this ton of money coming in, and I'm thinking of not putting it in this bank. I'm thinking of putting it in another bank where I can actually see an officer of the bank. But I went across the street to Wells Fargo. Right across the street is a Wells Fargo, okay? And I wanted to see how many people were waiting there. Nobody was waiting, but I couldn't see that there were any bankers there either. So, I mean... And I got to say, it is racist that they think, hey, this is the Harlem branch. It's known as
screw that, right? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we don't need Negro money. So so that's my argument with Bank of America. Who do you bank? Who do you bank?
The banks in general. I've got Wells Fargo, which is a terrible reputation, and.
Well, Bank of America isn't much better.
No.
Have you noticed, and I don't know that you deal with the rest of the world like I do, because you're kind of a hermit there, but do you notice that services that you need are just really poor these days?
Horrible.
Everything. And
technology is not making things work quicker or better.
No, absolutely not. But I mean, I just find that it's kind of horrible all the way around. I mean, everything we try to do, it's like, like this going to this bank. It shouldn't be a problem. I should go down there. Hey, I want to see a banker. Okay, fine. I want to put her on my account. Fine. And there could be 10 other people waiting, but they've got enough human beings to handle the traffic. But if the traffic is that bad every morning at that bank, then Bank of America should say, well, we need to put a few more bankers in that bank. Okay? But they don't care. They just don't care.
They don't care. But, people should be, you should leave that bank.
Yeah. But, I mean, this goes through to everything. The other day, I've been having a problem with Hulu, which is online, one of those... what do you call it? One of those services, one of those apps. Okay, but I cut the cord about a year and a half ago, and that's where I get all my TV and stuff like that, all my local stations and whatever. I pay $99 a month for the service, but I get all the stuff I would have gotten with cable. All right, so. Which is preferable, by the way, because with cable, you get 400 channels. How many of them, like you can get 400 channels on your cable, right? Do you have cable?
I didn't know that many, really? Jesus.
Yeah, there are 400 there. But how many channels do you watch?
Most people probably watch 5 or 7.
Maybe not even that. I think we'd only watch 2 or 3. So to cut the cord and just do it over your internet is the best way. Of course, you don't have high speed, so that's not possible. But but anyway, the problem was with Hulu for the last week. I couldn't get it to hook up every time. It would say looking for bandwidth and whatever and so on and so forth, and they can't do it. Blah, blah, blah. So finally I call Hulu to tell them there's a problem, and it wasn't that I was calling for them to solve my problem. I was calling to inform them that something was wrong with their service on Roku so that they could do something about it. So they could talk to, if it was Roku's fault, then it was Roku's fault, but they could talk to Roku. I could not get this woman to understand. She said, well, let's start your system again, and let's start. And I'm going, I know, I've done all that, okay? I know technology probably better than you do, okay? I've done all the things I need to do, and nothing has corrected it. And I said, I'm just phoning to let you know. And she says, well, let's try uninstalling it and then I said, aren't you listening to me? I've done all that. And it was the most excruciating experience I've gone through in weeks, you know? And it shouldn't be. The person on the other end should understand that when I'm saying, I don't need your help, I need you to go out and talk to Roku and get this problem solved with them, because there's something between your program and whatever. Well, this morning, everything seems to be 100% okay. Apparently, overnight, they fed a new program from Roku to update the whatever, and we're fine. But it was maddening with these people at Hulu, this woman whom, I don't know, she spoke English, but I don't know where she was. But she doesn't know anything about the technology. All she looked at, she has a little book there. She has a thing on her computer screen, and that's all she's answering. So you're not even getting people who can solve your problem anymore. You know?
No.
I mean, there was a time I remember when they had tech service at most of these companies, and you would call somebody like, I don't know, Apple or whoever, and you would get somebody immediately who was like a geek who knew how to help you solve your problem. And I don't know if you remember those days, because you may not have had that much technology in your life, but that's the way it should be. And it isn't anymore. It's simply some guy in India who's looking at a manual on his desktop that he's reading from a screen, and if he has to go through certain procedures that he doesn't even know why he's going through those procedures. I mean, it's insane that you don't get service anymore. And I think we should, right?
No, we're a service economy, but no service.
I mean, what do? You're paying for these services. Part of that service should be help when it goes bad. And part of the service I should get from a bank that I've been dealing with for the last at least 20, 25 years is that when I go down there, hey, if it's something simple they got to handle, then just put me the head of the line, get it done, and let me go. But no, I'm the same as anybody else sitting there, and they all happen to be black people that were waiting. So you can tell that this bank is not perceived.
Yeah, I think they've got a really good shot at a suit there.
I would say, because I think it's absolutely racist.
Absolutely.
You know, that it's classist. Let me put it that way. Oh well, Harlem, they don't need more people. Those coloreds up there, they're used to waiting. You know, and I mean, they were waiting, and didn't seem agitated by waiting. But God, don't I have white privilege anymore? Jeez. Anyway, no, but I mean, I just felt sorry for them too, that they had to wait.
Sure.
You know. So anyway, and so you don't like Wells Fargo either, right?
They got a bad reputation, and then I think all the banks are. Some of the banks now, I saw this. If you like take $2,000 out of your bank, they start. Why are you taking it out? What are you going to buy?
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, standard practice in Canada. If you take $3,000 out, why are you taking this money out? What are you buying?
Really?
Yeah, and I think it's happening here too.
Well, but what is the reasoning behind that? Maybe you were dealing drugs or something?
Yeah, I guess. So it's none of their effing business, whatever it is.
Hey, if I've got $500,000 in an account and I want $450,000 of that, it's none of your goddamn business why I'm taking it out.
Exactly.
Maybe I want to move it to another bank
that has people working at it.
Yeah, I never heard anything like that before.
Oh, yeah. I'll see if I can find it out. I saw it on the news.
Because I'm planning on buying some pretty big ticket items, and I don't want to have to tell them. If they ask me, I'm going to tell them, none of your goddamn business why I'm taking my money
that'd be
out.
great. See what happens. But if you take a big amount of cash out, you're going to probably get some questions.
Wow. Okay, I give up. You know, that's absurd. I don't understand it at all.
It's nice living in a third world fascist hell.
Well, that's what's happening. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's terrible, just terrible. And I mean, I don't go out and do a lot of stuff lately, and I'm sure I would have a ton more stories about lack of service. You know, mine is basically I always have a fear that like something goes down and I have to call GoDaddy, who is my provider for tech services, you know, for the internet and so on, my website and so on. And my fear is that something goes down and now I've got to call GoDaddy. So, I mean, immediately you get somebody. That's wonderful. And they say, what's your problem? And you tell them what your problem is. And they say, well, I can't really handle that. I'll have to turn you over to a higher level of tech or something like that. Every time. So why do you take that first call? Just wait until those other guys are available. You know? But no, I mean, you got to talk to me first. What? You're the gatekeeper? You know? If I can.
So you get to explain your problem to 3 different people.
Well, I hate referring to GoDaddy as my provider because it sounds like I'm referring to a god. You know, my provider, you know, but my provider has a gatekeeper. I guess that's who's at the pearly gates. Who's the gatekeeper at the pearly gates? I can't remember now.
Was it St. Peter?
St. Peter. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be St. Peter, but that's Christian. We don't go along with that. So there's no gatekeeper at our
pearly gates. I just remember when I was a kid, heaven always sounded very depressing to me.
Well, I mean, my question is, I mean, if you're a party person, do you really want to wind up in heaven? Or would you rather have flames licking your ass and having a good time in hell?
Yeah.
You know. Oh, boy.
Wasn't that a Twilight Zone? That hell turned out to be like a place where it was just really boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I think it was something like I thought I was going to hell, and they said, you are in hell.
Uh-huh.
And everything was just really boring and dull. It was like a Twilight Zone or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Probably sitting in a Bank of America, probably.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I've never. Do you believe in God?
No.
No. Yeah, I don't believe in God either, in the traditional sense. You know, I don't have this concept of some guy sitting up there on a cloud with puppet strings on me. You know, so and I really get bothered by people who they're playing baseball and they hit a home run and they slide into home and they say, praise God.
Yeah.
But God had nothing to do with it. God's not watching a goddamn baseball game. He's more concerned with what's going on in Gaza. You know? He's got enough trouble elsewhere rather than to make you have a home run. Oh.
Yeah. It's very annoying.
Thank the Lord for that. Oh, well, good for you, you know. I just never understood that. But, I mean, we can talk about the God concept next time. That would be...
Okay.
Yeah, that would be very good because I want to get your concept of what God is. But we got about a minute and a half left. Are you playing anywhere that people should know about? Not that enough people listen to this that it'll get you a big crowd. But, you know.
May 9th, I'll be at the Netflix is Not a Joke Festival in L.A. for one night.
Yeah. And how much time are they giving you?
10 minutes. And I'll probably ask them, can I do 5?
Well, wait a minute. I'll have to ask you that, too. What do you do in 10 minutes?
Oh, that's a lot of stuff. That'll probably be 50 jokes, I would guess.
Yeah, because you're a one-joke guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it works for you, but geez.
Yeah.
And if you're told to do 20 minutes, you do 100 jokes. And if you're told to do 30 minutes, you do 150 jokes. Do you have
They
that
said
many?
David-
Do you have that
Yeah,
many?
David Letterman would do. They said David Letterman. They asked him, "Hey, you're doing 20 minutes." He always say, "I'd rather do 10." He didn't like it, and I understand it.
Wow. Well, anyway, Bubs, always a pleasure talking to the king of comedy. Well,
Rupert Pupkin.
I was once called the king of comedy in San Francisco. King of San Francisco comedy, right? And I no longer am, so I have to pass that mantle to somebody else, and it's you. Okay?
Yeah, I'm about the only one left here now.
Ladies and
I
gentlemen.
win by default.
Yeah, that's Larry Bubbles Brown. Say goodbye, Larry.
Bye-bye.
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And that was Larry Bubbles Brown, and I'm Alex Bennett, and here we are, and waiting online to do the show tonight, one person. Wow, why do I even... I say this every time this happens. Why do I do this? Why do I show up for it? If you don't show up for it, why should I show up for it? You know? Anyway, hello everybody. How are you? It's a Friday, and hold on a second. I brushed my teeth before I came in here, and now everything with brush. And then I brush my teeth, and then I do Listerine, because I feel that really does almost better than flossing. Okay, and but the problem is, then I come in here, and little pieces of stuff are still coming out from me having used the Listerine. So anyway, that's the way I do stuff. That's the way I roll, folks. That's the way I roll. Well, now we have two people waiting. Yeah, what the hell? Let's go here. What the hell? Oh, well, we do actually have more people than that. We actually have, first of all, Charlie Wallace, who's always waiting to get on here, and I appreciate that. And the same is true of Jeff Stein. Hello, Jeff. Can you hear me? Yeah. Well, you've got a problem. Okay, and Tom Yamaguchi. Hello, Thomas. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I just felt the need to come on to celebrate a little bit of an anniversary.
Little bit of an anniversary. Is this one in which I'm involved?
This is one in which you are involved.
Okay, let me. What?
You know what an anniversary is?
Well, I'm does it concern you as well?
Not really.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought you
It
wanted to
definitely
say,
concerns you.
I thought you were going to say maybe this was a couple of years since I was made a member of the Hall of Fame in San Francisco, the Bay Area Hall of Fame radio.
Well, that was later.
Oh, okay. So,
but 20 years ago.
I started at Live 105?
No, 20 years ago.
20 years ago. That would make it 2004.
Yes.
2004 would mean that I was probably... I didn't start GabNet then, did I?
No, that was after.
Because that was like the end of...
What was between? What was between?
Oh, boy. What was between me getting let go at Sirius XM and starting GabNet?
Before you got let go at Sirius XM, what happened for you to get you couldn't have let go unless you started a program with Sirius XM, right? Or actually Sirius.
Yeah.
Today's the 20th anniversary of your program start at Sirius.
You're very, very good. You see, maybe that's something I want to blot out of my mind. I don't know.
I hope not. That was really great. Unfortunately, I was not there because I could not afford a Sirius radio.
Oh, really?
But,
okay.
But you had. I found out about it because I was on a news group called BA.broadcast.
Right.
Yeah. and you announced that you were starting your show on Sirius on April 19th, which was a Monday.
Yeah.
And I was all bummed out because I was broke and couldn't afford a radio. But then in the intervening months, you were able to persuade Sirius to do an internet broadcast. So you and Lynn Samuels became the first Sirius broadcasters to do an internet radio broadcast.
I'm trying to remember that.
Yeah.
How did we do
So
that?
there was a live internet stream of your program and Lynn Samuels' program on Sirius, before it was Sirius XM. And I was listening. And then that was coming to an end, and I still was broke, but I said to myself, I don't know if you remember the Gilbert Shelton's Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Right.
Well, the old line was, dope will get you through times of no money, better than money will get you through times of no dope. And so I came up with the conclusion that Alex will get you through times of no money, better than money will get you through times of no Alex. And I went ahead and bought a Sirius radio and started listening. I think it was in the fall, actually, I think it was August of that year.
See, if I had
When I
known
was
you,
actually started able to listen.
if you had gotten a hold of me at that time, I probably could have gotten you a free radio. Because
actually, what you did is what we did was you had a friends and family deal, and you said, "Okay, all you were listening to are obviously my friends and family, so I'm going to share this deal." So I got a cheap radio thanks to your deal.
Oh, okay, all right. But you see, I mean, I actually, in those first early days that I was at Sirius XM, they would allow us to have free radios to give away to friends. You know, so like I gave a girlfriend one. We had like 2 or 3 of them. There was a limited number.
Right. But it worked out for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whatever. So this is an anniversary. I guess it is. You know.
Congratulations.
What can I say, folks? You know, this is the best I can. The best I can do, folks. The best I can do. Is come up with this afterwards. Because we're coming up on an anniversary for this, I believe, in the end of May.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been working on like what we call imagers. You know, the imagers are the things we do that go like.
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet.
That's an imager.
Right.
And I have to change them all because that says the 9th. So I've kind of changed them in a way. I have one version that goes now in its 10th year and now in its first era. So we're getting those together in time. But anyway, well, good to see you again tonight, my friend, and on our anniversary, or my anniversary.
Yeah.
And we lasted there for what, about 9.5 years, I think it was. Maybe a little longer than that. So, you know, but I've been away from there for over 10 now. So it's hard to believe that time passes that fast. And, you know, what the hell, you know. So, hello there. My favorite childhood memory is my back not hurting. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does your back hurt you?
Yeah, I've had 2 back surgeries and 3 ruptured discs. So yeah. My back hurts.
Now, was that how did you get those?
I got the first one playing frisbee on the side of a hill and ruptured the disc. The second one just happened. I went to the bathroom at a restaurant and I was walking back to the table and my disc just slipped, and next thing I know, I'm waking up in the emergency room. So,
wow.
And the third one happened when I was playing softball, when I was trying to act like a teenager.
Yeah. So that's what you get for playing sports.
Yep.
Like, Marjorie is a real, she was a really sports-minded person. She loved doing everything, running and jumping and, I don't know, pooping in ditches. I don't know, all those things, right? And, but yet all of that took a toll on her,
Yep.
She's got the world's worst back. And the world's worst husband. So how's that for having a twosome? But it was quite a deal there with her back. And I used to say to her that everybody told me, "Oh, you got to be sports minded. You got to go out and do a lot of exercise and things like that." And I said, everybody I know who did that had wound up having back problems or knee problems or this problem or that problem. I said, I'm in pretty good shape for my age, I mean, I get backaches now, but if I take an ibuprofen or something, it goes away, and that's it. So I don't really have any skeletal problems, but they can be terrible. I mean, Marjorie's was terrible. There's a great video I have of our trip to Europe a few years back, in which she started out just having a backache and wound up having to use crutches and wound up having to be taken by wheelchair onto the airplane.
I remember you had video of that.
Yeah. And I mean, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Just over that vacation, that's why I'm afraid to go on another vacation with her. That was the last vacation we took in Europe. Then we went to China. China was fine. She didn't have any problem in China. But by then she had already had an operation on her back. So that kind of took care of it for a while, so. Anyway, hello there, Alan. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you, Alex?
I'm doing moderately well.
I heard you, where did I hear this, that you're getting your money? Maybe you said it last night. You're getting your money next week.
Yeah.
You'll be able to relax.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I've been waiting long enough, and I keep waiting and going, am I going to get this in time for me to be able to enjoy it,
Yep.
because of all my little problems of tiredness and walking is not as good as it was and so on and so forth. But just put me on a boat and float me down a river,
Yeah, get a first class thing. Have a limo pick you up, take you to the plane. Fly, if you're going to Europe, you can get on these private jets that only hold about 16 passengers.
I don't want to do that. I have on United, I have like 390,000 frequent flyer miles, which I understand will just get me to Newark.
Right.
I mean, does anybody know about this mileage crap?
I know that a lot of the airlines have cut back on how much, you need more mileage to get more. Although you might be able to, I'd contact United, but once you decide where you're going, what you might be able to do is buy a coach seat and get an upgrade to business or first class round trip for you and Marjorie.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna look into it, but I went to the United Airlines website. And that makes no sense at all. So I'm just thinking of calling United. And then they'll probably say, please use our online service.
Oh, yeah.
And when I go to a certain point on the United, it completely crashes.
Yep.
And these are people who update their app about every 3 days. And they're probably thinking, if we do this enough times, eventually we're going to get it right.
My phone crashes a lot less often when I take the apps that I never use off of it, which I did a couple weeks ago. I had Southwest Airlines, which I used to fly from here to Vegas. I had United, I had American. I took all these apps off. You can always put them back on. And my phone is working great again. It runs quicker, smoother.
It's true. I really should get rid of most of my apps. I only use 2 or 3 of the apps, and that's it,
Yeah.
I use my bank app, okay?
Facebook, your bank app, and Pornhub. What else do you need?
Yeah, you don't need anything else. Except maybe somebody to jerk you off, but I can afford that now.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I was saying today, my old friend Buddy Love is visiting us here, and I was saying that I really kind of thank God for Shecky. You know, that through his thoughtfulness, our later years are going to be just fine. You know,
That's
we're
good.
we're going to go out and spend that money as fast as we can because somebody also, I was asked tonight, well, why don't you invest the money? And I said, well,
Throw it away.
you know, I said I would invest it if I was 60 years old or 50 years old,
Right.
and then
Yeah, that
live on
makes
the
sense.
on the interest. Okay, that's fine. But I'm 84, Marjorie is 80, and we have no kids and nobody to leave our money or our stuff to. So why shouldn't we just spend it like crazy? You know, I mean,
should.
what's the sense of sitting around saying, "Oh, well, I'm living off the interest." Yeah, for as long as you're going to live. Yeah, Jeff.
But you got to understand, if you got a substantial amount of money, and you can't spend it every day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, guess what?
He's going to break that rule.
I'm going to
could
break
figure out
that
what-
rule.
Every day.
Yeah, but you're gonna have a lot more that you don't need every day. So you at least put it in some kind of a place that would give you 6% or 3%.
Who gives you 6% anymore?
I don't know.
You
You can
know,
get
if I
4%
take
in
if
the
I
bank.
take all that money and I put it and I say to the bank, make sure my savings account is an interest-bearing account.
Absolutely.
Do you know how much I will get every month on that money, which is quite substantial? Maybe $3.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean,
what-
it makes no sense at all. You know, I mean, at my age, like for instance, I'm going to build a new studio here. You know, I'm going to upgrade this Apple machine I've got here to a very, very powerful machine, and you know, be able to do a lot of things with it, and maybe new microphones, things like that. You know.
Nice.
What the hell? And that in and of itself will still leave me with so much money I can't even begin to tell you. Okay?
All right.
Why don't you send it out to your regulars here?
I was gonna say, you know, we'll be glad to take over
Enjoy
whatever.
your money. I don't need your money. Enjoy your money.
well, I'm giving a nice little chunk to my business manager. He's been
Nice.
so good to me over the years that I want him to, you know, have
Nice.
something to take part in my good fortune. But the thing was, I said to Buddy tonight, I said, you know, I really thank Shecky, you know, because he's made our lives now much easier than it would have been. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, we
Is
don't
any of that money taxable?
no,
No.
nope,
No.
no, it's a will.
It depends on the state, but you know, like California, it's not.
Not here
Federal
either.
amount,
Federally, not federal either.
doesn't have to
And
pay any
the,
taxes
well,
on it.
I just got a big inheritance a few years ago. No taxes.
well, the tax is already paid, right?
Paid by Shecky, you know, by
Yeah.
By
his
By his
estate.
estate,
by his
probably.
estate.
By his estate.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that all the people that get the money, it's tax free. You know.
No taxes. Tom, I'm writing down your last name to make sure I got it right in case I die before you. I'll send my money to you.
It's YAMAGUCHI. The first name, my
I
legal first name is Thomas. My middle initial is F, as in Francis.
And you're in Russia, right?
No, I'm in Berkeley, California.
I know where you're at.
94710.
Well, guess who?
Statistically, we never know, but
guess-
statistically,
yeah.
you're a little older than I am.
Guess
so,
who
you know.
Shecky?
Yeah.
Guess who
My
My
Shecky?
mother's 90 and I'm 65. My sister's 72.
got a word
and
in
my
edgewise,
sister
sir.
and I both think that my mother might outlive us.
Yeah, I'm 74.
Youngster.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh well,
Sorry about that.
that's
Talking about
okay.
taxes on it or something. I don't know.
No,
You were, yeah, we.
well, I mean, the taxes on it are it's a wonderful thing about, you know, an inheritance is that the taxes are usually paid by the estate. after the person dies, and now they've
Yeah,
already.
you got to inherit like $11 million before they start taxing you on it.
Yes, you can. Over $11 million of inheritance, you have to pay taxes.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody in the near future is leaving me $11 million.
I don't think so either.
Not even I got that much. What's up with that?
Listen, I'm glad that Shecky didn't leave me more, because I wouldn't know how to spend it. I wouldn't be able to get rid of it in my lifetime. You know.
There's lots of charity out there, Alex.
Yeah, well, there are charities out there, and I've been thinking about that. You know, but I would have to get later on down the line where I figure I'll never need it. You know, if I suddenly find I go spend all this money, right? It's all gone. I blew it on hookers and dope and cheap,
Hey, enjoy.
you know, cheap movies or something. If I did all of that, you know, and then I still had money left over, and I found out I was going to die in a week and a half, I would give it to charity, or I would do something very nice with it for somebody. None of you are those people, however.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
No, I mean, I have several people I would like to leave the money to if need be, you know.
Bill Meyer, Donald Trump.
No, I'm not going to leave the money to Phil Meyer, because he'll just go out and waste it on crap.
He makes good money and he enjoys spending it on himself. So.
Do you make that much money? Oh, by the way, speaking of rugs, which is what he does, if you want the most entertaining thing you can watch on YouTube, and believe me, I'm telling you this ahead of time, there are a series of videos, maybe many of them, which are getting over 1 million views each, of people cleaning rugs.
Okay.
And these rugs are so filthy you can't even see what's on the rugs.
Yeah.
And when they clean them, the initial outpouring of what's in there is pure mud. Okay? So they get rid of the mud part of it, and then you slowly start to see what's underneath. And it gets brighter and better. And I got to tell you, you will sit there fascinated by watching this thing, because it has 2 factors in it. Very easy factor, that these people are doing something, they're cleaning something, and something's getting cleaner and cleaner, and you just emotionally you feel better about that. It's just really strange. Just go on to YouTube, find something, one of these things, cleaning rugs, just go rug cleaning or whatever, and just start watching one of these. I swear to you, some of them are 25 minutes, a couple of them are 40 minutes long. You will watch them all the way through. We were watching some tonight here in the house with Buddy.
I hope you get that money soon and get a life.
With Buddy and his wife, and he knew about it. And we sat here and watched them clean a rug. And we were all just fascinated. We didn't even speed the thing up to see do it faster and faster. We just watched the whole thing. Oh, there's less mud coming out now. There's less dirt. The water isn't clean yet, but we're getting there. You know, and boy, it's so cathartic.
The next thing you'll want to do is watch people clean toilets.
I like watching the women's softball games.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll agree with that.
Women's softball games. You know what I used to like watching, and I think I still have them on YouTube. Women in bikinis shooting guns.
Well, yeah, they're still out there.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing like a woman in a bikini, a woman full formed in a bikini.
Yes, the kickback.
Shooting a machine gun. Okay, yeah. All right. And I don't like guns, but boy, that's entertainment. I used to run it on the TV show when we were doing the full TV show, right? You remember that?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember those.
They were hilarious.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and you don't like guns, right?
I don't really care about women in bikinis, personally.
Yeah, well, that's because you are of another persuasion.
I'm of another persuasion, but it was fascinating.
Yes, absolutely.
How about guys in Speedos shooting guns?
We could do that.
Well, that might work.
There you go, Tom.
That might work.
Yeah, yeah,
It's probably out there.
yeah,
I'm sure it is.
Probably.
yeah. Well, anyway, there was another day in court for our boy Donald, and they got three more alternates, so they only have 2 alternates to go, if I'm not
Oh, okay.
mistaken.
Oh, that's
I
a
thought
nice
they had all
picture.
their alternates.
What?
I heard that they had all their alternates.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
That's what I
it's-
heard.
Probably would.
Well, that would mean that Monday the trial will start.
Yeah, Monday the trial will start.
Yeah.
And some guy set himself on fire outside.
Well, that's the thing. They said, now was he? Which way was he? Was he leftist,
Yeah, that's what I'm
or was
trying
he
to figure
right
out.
winger? If he was a right winger, I don't care.
right.
Well, I think he was just very mentally disturbed.
He.
Well,
maybe so.
no, do tell. I mean, you set yourself on fire. You're not exactly. You don't have everything all together.
Well, actually, there were a number of people during the Vietnam War
yeah.
yeah.
who did set themselves on fire and founded the Pentagon. One of them was a Quaker.
Well, also,
I would say they were very rational, and they were definitely had a message that they wanted to deliver regarding the war, and it was inspired by the monks,
right.
the Buddhist monks in Vietnam,
There's
who
got to be
did
a better
set
way to
themselves
go
on
than
fire to protest the war, the war in Vietnam as well.
Right.
Did
Right.
they hand out not mushrooms, but I can't think of the name. Marshmallows, so you can cook them over the fire.
Alan.
Well, I remember those, and I remember some Americans doing it as well. Yeah, absolutely. But that was for the Vietnam War. There was a slightly different urgency to that. I don't know why this guy burned himself.
Yeah.
You know, in front of Trump's trial. What's the purpose? What are you protesting?
Yeah.
He couldn't get the Trump T-shirt off. Trump for president.
No, I don't know. We don't know where
I don't-
he was.
I don't-
He was an
I don't
older
think we
guy,
know
right?
yet.
He was like 81 or something.
No, he was 37.
37.
From St. Augustine,
I
Florida.
get
He was a
everything wrong. I
conspiracy
never
theorist.
pay attention to the news.
My
lately.
brother called me, Alex. They said they had everything roped off across the street from that.
Well,
No,
yeah, they
that's
rope
just
things
crime
off.
What's a crime scene? So they're gonna rope it off. But anyhow, what do you know about it, Tony? Other than his age and where he was from?
Well, from what I heard is he's 37. They said he's from St. Augustine, Florida. And he sounds like a conspiracy nut, Alex. He sounds like a Trumper, really. Like he had pamphlets that he was giving out. They confiscated it. But it was all like the deep state, I bet you, all these, all the stuff he propagates, Trump. It's definitely a Trumper. You could
Maybe there was a page in the pamphlet that showed how to set yourself on fire.
Well, in that case, no loss.
No, exactly. Get the marshmallows out. I mean, you can't make this up, and you can't make it up how crazy they are, really.
Well, I mean,
Another Republican
I can't think of
congressman is quitting.
Another? No,
Yeah,
that would get rid of their majority. They only had a 1-seat majority.
That's right.
Another Republican?
Yeah, I read it in yesterday's news. I forgot about it. Yep, I should have looked it up again.
There are a lot. I think there are a lot of Republicans who are fed up with the way the Republican Party is going, and they don't want to be part of it. It would be nicer if they stuck around and then did something about it and voted, against things. The guy in there, what's his name?
Use Kennedy instead.
What's his name? Johnson, the Speaker of the Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. He's been kind of interesting the last couple of days because he's standing up against the Marjorie Taylor Greenes and the Matt Gaetzes by saying that we have to pass this thing and we have to get money to Ukraine. It's essential, and he's risking his position in Congress by doing that. And this is a guy I thought was pretty much an asshole, but I'm beginning to think slightly differently. That he has some principles, which he makes him a bad Republican, actually, if you have principles.
Mike Gallagher, from 40 years old. He's been swatted, and he doesn't like it. He fears for his family. Smart guy.
What do you mean he's been
swatted?
swatted?
House of Representative from Wisconsin.
The guy who quit. Oh, okay.
from Wisconsin.
Okay,
Yeah.
quit.
I wonder if he's leaving immediately. I hope so.
Well, why don't you stick around and at least vote positively on stuff?
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
rather than with these morons.
Another rising star in the Republican Party.
Yeah, but he'd lose all of his, he's gonna have a cushy job with industry. He'd lose that if he voted against what they wanted.
He voted against the impeachment of Mayorkas.
Yeah.
Mayorkas, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
going to
well,
go nowhere anyway. It was just ridiculous. They even wasted their time. Get on with the people's business, okay?
He's leaving this month. And Charlie's right. It'll make it a 50-50 split.
Yes, Tony.
I'm glad Tom is on tonight. I was going to ask you this, Alex, too. And since Tom is there, I was reading on Nixon. I could not believe this. Do you know, you probably know this, and Tom most definitely knows it. Do you know in 1974 he was trying to propose universal health care?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we knew that.
I never knew that. I almost did a double take. I was reading his whole thing on it.
No, I mean, there were
Were you
things.
alive at that time, Tony?
Yeah,
I was live.
one of Nixon said his regrets was he came close to working with Ted Kennedy on a universal
Yes.
health bill, and it didn't happen.
Nixon created the EPA.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
That's how different Republicans were in
I was
1974.
going to say, Charlie, I was like totally amazed by, like, at least he was a forward thinker in that sense. I was like, wow, I never knew that.
Well, I mean, the thing is that we compare Nixon to what's going on today, and Nixon was almost a godsend.
I was
know.
going to ask you, actually, right about that.
I mean, there were
I
things
can't
that
even compare.
Nixon did, such as he was the president that went to China and opened up trade and
Yes.
everything with China.
Yeah.
You know, got rid of that Cold War thaw. There were things about him that were positive. It was just that he could steal victory away from himself. When it looked like he was going to win something, he would have to do something to screw himself over.
Yeah.
You know, he did
Sounds
that.
like Trump.
That sounds like Trump.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that he did it when he was in college. Went to Whittier College,
You were saying.
and he was going to, it was graduation time, and he wanted to see in most desperate way where he was going to finish in his class.
Oh, yeah.
And he broke into the dean's office and found the list of the people and who would finish first, second, third, whatever. He was first. When they caught him, they almost didn't let him graduate.
Yeah.
So that
It's
was a
almost like
perfect.
it's
There's
paranoid.
very little difference between that and what went on with Watergate. Okay,
Yeah.
again, it's taking something that you got a slam dunk on, and you go in and you screw the whole thing up. I mean, he was a guy who defeated himself constantly.
Have you ever seen him in person? I mean, we know he's dead, but when he was campaigning in San Francisco, I went to watch, and he had an enormous head. You know, it really stood out, and I don't know if that's extra brain power or what. I mean, in my case, it's I'm fat, but he had a really big head.
That's not that.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, I remember actually I wrote a guest column for your blog on Nixon nostalgia, because there are a number of people looking back at the different ideas that Nixon had under what he called his new federalism, and one of them was a guaranteed annual income. In other words, or also known as a negative income tax. So, in other words, if you didn't make up to the poverty level, the federal government actually paid you to gave you money to bring you up above the poverty level, and that was a Nixon idea.
He had some forward-looking ideas.
Yeah, and
He really
another
did.
idea he got through was called revenue sharing. So the federal block grants, the federal government sharing money with local governments that have lasted through the decades. That was a Nixon idea too.
So, yeah. No, I mean, I'm not going to say Nixon wasn't a bad guy because he really kind of was. He was kind of skeezy. You know.
Yeah.
But he had some good ideas. You know,
In fact,
Yeah, I mean,
definitely did have some.
In
some
fact, you know, you got to go
forward-thinking
back. You
ideas.
got to go back to Nixon's history, and you find nothing but just absolutely disgusting stuff, like his running against Helen Gahagan Douglas.
Oh yeah,
For senator,
the red baiting.
and
Yeah,
the kind of red baiting he did.
Yeah.
And the kind of lies he did with the film in the pumpkin patch and stuff like that he found. I mean, he used red baiting to win elections, and he was just a terrible person in that respect.
Most
Andrew Cuomo's
politicians.
father did
Yeah,
that, too.
but hello. By the way, hello to Kevin. You can barely see him. He's in his car
Oh, I
driving.
thought it was ZZ Top. Oh.
Oh,
All I see is a white beard.
Yeah, it's ZZ Top. Hi, ZZ.
he was never crazy.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah.
You sure it's not an elderly woman with gray hair with her legs up? Never mind.
Whoa.
What? What?
Come on.
What?
Is that a joke?
You went there, Alan.
It just
Terrible.
Thanks, Alan, for
I'm not going to sleep tonight, Alex. I'm going to have my radio on.
Yeah.
I'll listen to 1010 Wins.
twisted minds. All politicians are thieves,
It
liars,
was that.
corrupt.
Not all politicians. I think there have been some people who became politicians because they wanted to do good things. I think they were sadly mistaken.
Well,
You
I
know.
mean, maybe
Yeah,
they can. Probably the politicians that are more honest are the local level politicians versus national level.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, there are politicians. You know, for instance, I think Nancy Pelosi's okay. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with Nancy Pelosi. I think she went into it for all the right reasons. Maybe you don't agree with all of the things she did, but she went to help people. Barbara Boxer, what a great senator she was.
Oh, Barbara Boxer was
You,
great.
you liked her, yeah, I remember that.
I liked her a lot. I knew her daughter quite well.
You were saying that, yeah, remember you said, yeah. I remember
as
you
well,
saying that.
and wonderful people. You know, you like Barbara Boxer, didn't you, Tom? Because it's from our area.
Yeah, I like Barbara Boxer. Yeah. And, you know, tonight, actually, before I came onto this program, I was at a local political event for the Berkeley Democratic Club. And we were able to hear from Latifah Simon, who is running to replace Barbara Lee in Congress. Of course, you know, Barbara Lee ran for Senate for the, the open Senate seat and failed, you know, but she's giving up her House seat. So Latifah Simon, who's currently on the BART board, is running for her. She's dynamic. She's really great. And I think that you'll definitely be, I know she's going to win. And I think you'll definitely be hearing her name. She's one of those people in the mold of, you know, of Barbara Lee and Ron Dellums. She's going to do a lot of good stuff.
I think our biggest problem with politicians, and you talk about them, they're all disgusting and they're vile and so on. They only get vile after they've been in too long. You know, they lose.
It depends.
It depends.
Well, like I'm not that hot about Chuck Schumer, for instance. You know, I just don't like the way the positions he takes on stuff. You know, he's a liberal and he's a Democrat, but he's not a good one. You know, not my kind of liberal. And then we got another Democrat here as a senator. What's her name?
Batet?
What? You know,
Is that AOC?
No, not AOC. AOC I like.
He's not a senator.
Phil hates AOC.
I like AOC because she's just a shit disturber.
Yeah,
know?
She likes to rattle the cages, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the senator, the female senator from New York, who was the one that...
Oh, Kirsten Gillibrand?
Gillibrand. She's the one that forced Al Franken out.
Yeah.
Now, there was no more liberal a senator in Congress, or honest senator in Congress, than Al Franken. And she forced him out because he did a little stunt on the
He did
airplane.
a joke. He didn't even really touch the woman.
No, and the woman thought it was a joke. She
But-
went along with it.
And he's a comedian. And he's a comedian.
What'd you say?
Republicans that are actually raping and then got bags of gold. No, that's a Democrat. Never mind. With the gold bullion.
Yeah, but I mean, what was she thinking? You know, you had a good, solid left-wing senator in Al Franken, a guy, by the way, who I didn't want to have to like as a politician, but as he became a politician and did stuff, he grew on me. You know, and eventually, when the whole thing went down with him, the only thing I was mad at him about was that he quit. He shouldn't have
he
quit.
shouldn't have quit. He should have made him. He probably wouldn't have stayed. I mean, they probably wouldn't have been able to force him out.
They wouldn't have been able to force him out, and if he had stayed, he could have made a case for what happened and didn't happen, you know. But it never got that. He never let it get that far. He never let it get to some kind of a discussion of it in the Senate. So you know, I mean, and he didn't do anything wrong, really. I mean, it was just a joke. I mean, after all, is not Al Franken's first line of work a comedian? Yeah. And what he was doing was almost akin to a sketch on Saturday Night Live. But, you know, Me Too, boy, you also, whatever, I don't know. How you doing, Kevin?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm just heading home from DoorDash.
From DoorDash?
Wow.
Yeah, every time I hear
Trying
that.
to put my daughter through college, damn it.
Here's my food.
Let's set up a GoFundMe page for Kevin.
Whenever
Send up me for me.
Yeah, whenever I hear DoorDash, it just sounds too much like Jordash.
It's like it's coming. I used to time the pizza.
Which were the ugliest pair of jeans ever created.
Oh, that's right.
How
Remember
many
those
pairs
killing
did
each
you
other
have?
fellas?
It was a pretty
My
shitty
sister
day.
one of those as a kid. when I was
What'd you
a
say,
boy.
Kevin?
I said it was a pretty shitty day for me today.
Really? Why was it a shitty day?
Too many food orders.
Well, people didn't want to tip tonight.
Really? Isn't that included in the bill?
Oh, fuck. People were just not. I did first 5 deliveries and I got $2 in tips and I'm driving all over freaking town.
You should have ate the food.
Well, you do get
And
a,
I was delivering
my
to the
sandwich. I
Quincy
didn't
house.
do it.
well, wait a minute. If you're doing DoorDash, are you just working for tips?
No. They
Oh.
give you an amount. You know, once you accept a delivery amount, and
Yeah.
then whatever tips they give you on top of that. But sometimes the delivery amount is really low.
It could be. It could be.
By how far
Yeah.
you go, and then if they add a tip on, but there's a lot of people that don't tip.
Could it be that they don't know that they're supposed to tip? They think the delivery fee is what is your tip,
I thought.
basically.
So they pretty much tell you on there you can tip your driver.
Oh, really?
Just say fuck no, I'm not tipping the driver.
I always tip the driver when they bring delivery.
But it's
I know
hard,
you.
it's hard to hold all those pennies.
I would rather tip them
I
in
have
cash
a lot of people. I have a
than
lot of
to
people
tip
tip
on
me.
itself.
I guess I'll stop talking.
No, well, you know, I mean,
You can't hear me, I guess.
Yeah, man.
no, we can hear you.
Kind of going in and out.
Okay. Well, I'm just pulling into the house right now, so if you can't hear me, I'm not gonna try and talk.
Okay. Well, why don't you call?
Yeah.
Can you call us back from inside the house?
I don't use that.
Yeah, I'll be in there in about 5-6 minutes.
And we go off the air about 5 or 6 minutes after that. So do it
Perfect.
do it anyway. We'd love to see you. Okay.
Yeah, I've just got to log on my stuff here real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye bye.
See you in a bit.
Okay.
Bye.
See you later. That's Kevin from his little phone thing. Let me
How
see
cheap
here.
of
Where do
people
I want to
not
go? I
tip
want to.
the delivery
That
driver.
is cheap. Unless, like Alex said, I thought it was included in the thing.
No, the problem with that, if you put it on the bill, then they have to pay taxes on it.
Yep.
You give
I
them
always-
You got to
I-
pay taxes.
A lot of times, Right. A lot of times I'll have a pizza delivered, and they'll ask me if I want to tip, and I'll say I'll tip in cash when the pizza gets here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get those too. Those are the
And
best.
that way there's nobody
Yeah,
knows
there's no
nothing.
record, so they don't have to pay the 20% or whatever the tax.
That's
Oh,
right.
okay. So
Yeah, but you still, a DoorDash still reports you as taxes. You get a 1099 when you're done. Okay, I gotta go.
okay.
I'll be back.
Bye. He'll be back later, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
but I
we're
don't
still
tell a
here.
DoorDash. I just
He
tip the
says,
guy.
I didn't realize he was doing deliveries.
You know, when I was doing early days of my talk radio career, do you want to know what maybe the number one discussion was? If we got into this, it was a whole night of people yelling and screaming.
Oh wow!
Was bring up tips.
Oh.
Should you
Really?
tip? What should a tip be? People are so goddamn cheap.
Yeah.
They don't
What
realize
20% of the bill,
that
right?
this person that's bringing you your stuff is
Gotta
trying to
keep
earn
it
a
simple.
living. And tips are a major important part of that.
Yeah.
Same thing with people in waiters in restaurants. Although when you go to Europe, it's included in the price. In other words, there's a 15%
That's it.
added on fee for service, and that
Wait,
all
you
goes to
know
the
that-
waiter.
They
What?
pay $2.13 an hour. If they don't get tips, they can't eat.
Right, right.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
I can actually say when I had a paper out on my area, I did 40 something papers, and they used to tip it. You're right. I used to have a little book, and they used to give me like a couple of, like I got so much from the daily news themselves, not a lot,
Yeah.
but then everything else was tips. And the best house here was the guy who owned a catering place, the Santucci House. The wife always gave me a good tip. There was a lot of people. They gave you like $1 for the week. I mean, this is 7 days. I used to get pissed off. Sometimes I would give people extra coupons on the Sundays. The good tip is I would take the good coupons and not give them the coupons on the other ones, the food coupons.
What gets me is that every Christmas,
Yeah.
I have a major amount of money that I give to my super and to the people who work with him. I give them each $50, and I give him like about 300 because he's the guy I have to deal with the most, and they're very happy with that. But most of the people in this building don't tip these people at the end of the year.
I mean, I tipped the post office guy.
You know, and
I do too.
some of these
I
people.
give a Christmas present to the letter carrier.
Yeah,
The
me too.
letter
Me and my brother
carrier,
do a big
I
one.
throw $20 to, just to say thank you. The first time I did it, I asked him, "Are you allowed to take tips?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." You know.
Of course, I'm a government employee.
So you know, especially if somebody
We
does,
used to take
and
the
people
money.
then wonder why the super, when they have a problem in their apartment, takes so long to take care of it.
Yeah,
Whenever I have a problem, he's here in 5 minutes.
And you're being nice because you appreciate him
Well,
too.
yes, I want to keep him happy, and quite frankly, he does right by us, you know. So,
I've never lived in a building with a super, but I understand the principle. Does he do work for you, and then you pay him for that work during the year?
he will come up. I will give him maybe $300 at Christmas time. Okay, which I think is decent.
That's good. Yeah.
And then every time he comes up here and does something like, "Oh, I've got a plugged toilet" or whatever, I hand him $20. And most of the time he says, "No, keep it. You don't have to do that, you know, because I do tip him every year." And I went,
Right.
"No, I want you to have this. It makes me feel better."
Now I get it.
You know,
Right.
and so I will, when I ask him to come up and do something, he always knows he's going to get $20 out of me,
Oh, yeah.
although that has nothing to do with it, because most of the time he says, no, you don't have to give me that, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, people in this building who say, "Oh, he's a horrible guy. He doesn't do anything for me." Well, do you tip him every year? Do you give him a
And we've got
Christmas
lot of
bonus?
places.
You know, I mean, you got to bribe people. That's the way things are done in New York.
It's true, yeah.
Ask,
I'm actually working for Trump, you get
ask
nothing.
Donald Trump. You know,
Oh, he's gonna be burning in flames.
I wonder if he tipped Stormy Daniels.
You know,
I wonder if he tips
he
the.
said he had a small
servants.
peepee, I think.
Well, she says his pee-pee. This was
Yeah.
like a small mushroom.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I laughed at that. I like that.
And this
I'll
was
take a drawer in the
this was
corner.
on Jimmy Kimmel's show, and so Jimmy Kimmel had a board in which they created all these well, shall we say, different mushrooms. And he said, could you tell us which one closely approximates his mushroom? And she pointed to the smallest, stubbiest one.
She probably took a picture of that and showed it to the judge in court.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was...
How do you know it's him in question? He's got a small dick. It's him.
Yeah, I recognize. Well, there was something about... I mean, I don't know why we're getting into this, but there was something about Clinton that I think somebody, what's her name, Monica Lewinsky had to identify. And it was something wrong, a little odd about his penis.
Yeah, it was bent or something. Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah,
it was bent. It was
this
crooked.
is more information than I need to know about our
I wonder if he had a problem too. Maybe he had an illness.
Well, there is a thing.
Too close to you, Tony.
Well, there is a thing of a bent penis called Peyronie's disease.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a known thing. You can have it straightened out. They use a hammer, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Or if you spend $7,000, you get sound waves pushed through it through people that Phil used.
I was going to say, you save the money.
Get a new stereo. They might get a new people.
Did it work for Phil?
He's trying everything. It sounds like.
Yeah.
He's finally trying what I told him to try.
What?
It's called Trimix. It's a mix that's done in the pharmacy. It's 3 different chemicals, and you inject a little bit in your penis.
Oh God! Just leave me alone. Just stop. Just stop.
It's
I
true.
couldn't even take a needle. I
don't care about that. But I'm telling you. I mean,
you asked.
You know, if I had a little problem with my penis, which at this age, and all the different prostate operations I've had.
I'm just glad to be alive.
I have to look down there every now and then to make sure I still have it. Okay, but I had many good years of use, so I'm not.
You had a good run. You said,
I had a good run.
I
had a good run.
Okay, Kevin came back. Let him talk.
I was just happy to keep breathing.
Anyway, the point is that
what did I miss?
Huh? we
got talking about Trimix. Kevin asked me. Alex asked me.
It sounds like a cereal. Trimix.
Phil is using.
Yeah. Trimix. Yeah.
Look up Trimix on the internet. We don't need to go.
Give it to your dog. He gets an erection. Yeah. Right.
This is for Phil. Don't
I would not do that. I'm sorry. I'm not
just scared. You think there's a reaction to these things? It's got to be not good.
Well, I mean, to begin with, I'm not going to inject my penis myself. I mean, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to have a doctor do it.
No, I think you got to do it yourself, Alex.
You don't have to do it yourself. You could get a doctor to do it. But quite frankly, I don't think it's an ethical form of medicine.
I'm agreeing with you because it doesn't sound right.
I mean, if you shoot yourself up.
It's FDA approved and compounded in a U.S. pharmacy.
Really?
I don't know what the 3 chemicals are, but I have friends of mine for different various medical reasons. He use it. I recommended Phil get it before the $7,000 thing. He chose not to. Now he's using it. Found out it works. There we go. So.
Do you believe
what else works is a penis pump.
No. You know what works? What works is the fact that he thinks it's working.
Do they make one big enough for you, Charlie?
You didn't hear what I said. There's a lot to be said for having made yourself believe it works.
Oh,
and that's enough to help you make it work.
Yeah, I see mind over matter.
But if you got to stick a needle in your penis before you
that just sounds. I don't even. How do you wake up in the morning? That's a good idea.
Hey, listen, guy. Hold on a second. Let me have a word with my penis. Listen, guy. Later on, I will try and believe in you. Okay, we'll work on that later.
Baby Jesus.
Phil is the diabetic, and he's used to giving himself injections. So what's the deal?
Not in that part of your body.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I will inject my abdomen.
You do your abdomen for diabetes. Marjorie shoots herself up for allergies.
She's
in her butt.
This is the same guy that 20 years ago spent $20,000 to get more hair on top of
I
his.
couldn't believe that.
She had to actually go to some classes
mother
at
never
her
got that many
doctor's
eggs.
to learn how to inject yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Really?
I don't know if I but anyway, what were you, Tom?
Yeah.
You were thinking something.
Yeah.
Tony's quiet for a
hold
minute.
on.
Kevin came back. We're going to listen to Kevin talk
All right.
about it.
Yeah, let's listen to Kevin.
What happened to those bad tickets?
Hi, Kevin.
What I do?
No, you didn't do anything.
You made no
came
money
back.
to no
No,
tips.
but we were talking about the tips earlier, and you know, people who don't tip are just assholes. That's all. You know, they don't understand that. You know, my father, because he was a musician, and musicians don't get tipped, but he believed in tipping. He believed that if people supply a service to you and they live on those tips, that you have to give them a tip. So I have always been a good tipper, because in honor of my father, you know. I mean, I will tip sometimes. I will even tip when the service was terrible. I mean,
Same here.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
You know,
If it's a you know, it just may not be as big of a tip, but it's
Yeah.
a tip, you know, because these people are only making, you know, X amount of money, and they you know, rely on the other half for the you know, the
yeah.
extra.
And I think that's
And I don't care. I did the job because I was having fun and doing it for fun, but it does bug you a little bit to know that there's, you know, if someone wasn't like, I'm out there trying to just make extra money, and you know, because I'm putting my kid through college, so I need that money to go there, and I got my own fun money over here.
Yeah.
So, you know, but there's people out there that are actually trying to do this for a living, and they do the same thing. I mean, I know certain address. I've written down addresses, and unfortunately, the way you get these orders, you don't know where you're going until after you've picked up the order. So you get an offer. It's an offer for, say, $3 plus whatever it says could be more, and you go, okay, do I want to take the chance of $3 and a $5 tip or whatever? I just take them all. I don't care. But some people will sit there and go, I'm not going to take the chance, and they'll wait for the $5 order and, you know, calculate it per mile and all that other stuff. And you only got 30 seconds to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just take them all, and, you know, it all washes out. But
You
But
make
let
the
me ask
interesting
you
in your city.
How
Kevin?
many-
it's kind of an interesting social experiment to see that, you know, what people do. And I'll drive 10, 12 miles out to a place that, you know, they're sitting in a $2.5 million house, and they've ordered dinner and they don't leave a tip.
Oh,
I'm
Well,
going,
let
"Really?"
me ask you this quickly. Your work tonight, you probably did how many trips? How many orders?
What, today?
Yeah,
7.
7. Okay.
It was a terrible night.
How much money did you make out of that?
I'll tell you right now. 7, and I made $51.
$51.
That's
No,
all.
that was total.
Mm.
$33. $33 in
What do you usually make?
DoorDash and $17 in tips,
What-
and there
yeah.
was, I was on for almost 5 hours.
wow. Well, that gas was good.
$17.
A little about
basically-
$10 an hour. A
Basically,
little less
you
than
got
10
less
bucks an
than
hour.
minimum wage.
Less
Yeah.
than $10 an hour. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
Well, anyway,
Yeah,
here,
you make half of what I make as a in-home services provider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some nights I'll get, you know, and I go the extra mile for some people, and I'll get tips after I leave. You know, people say good job, and they'll drop another $5, or I
yeah.
go to a nice house and they'll hand me $10 cash. You know, it goes both ways.
Well, the theme is playing, and
Yeah.
Next time
I go
around,
on all night.
I want to hear about what Tom does, and you know, you were talking about your services.
Yeah, IHSS, in-home supportive services.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that next time.
Yeah.
Next time.
Now?
we don't have time now. I got the theme is playing.
Next time.
Thank you, Jeff, for being here. Thank you, Charlie, for being here tonight. Tom Yamaguchi, always great. I tell you that time and time again, and I'm sincere about it. Alan,
Happy anniversary.
Yes, and Alan, I keep telling you how much I can't stand you, and I want you to know that you can take that to the bank.
No problem. No problem. Have a good weekend.
Tony, thank you, and thank you to Kevin. And if he
See you next weekend.
if he delivers food to you, you better tip. Okay,
Exactly.
everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. Okay, there they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. Coming up next is, of course, the lovely and attractive Amy Manuel, who does The Intersection. It's a fine, good program. Stick around for it, and call her, by the way, while you're at it. I'll see you again. Oh, what is it? Monday with the Monday pop-up show at 4 o'clock on Facebook. And then we will see you again right back here, same time, same station in life at 10:30 Eastern Time. And if you see her, as always, be sure to tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice weekend.